with an AEW star set for surgeries and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on and don't forget to like the video. On Talk is Jericho, Prince Nana revealed how he ended up signing with Ring of Honor and AEW, saying AEW was a company that was kind of birthed through Ring of Honor at that particular point in time. That first All-In show, I wasn't a part of it. I wanted to be a part of it, but history was made. The years went by and I was beginning to kind of lose my luster because I had parted from Ring of Honor. It was still owned by Sinclair, and I had to make a decision on whether I was going to continue trying to perform or get a job doing something else. Luckily, I touched base with a couple of good friends, Homicide, Kerry Silken, Christopher Daniels, and Nick Jackson, and these guys encouraged me. There may not be an opportunity right now, but keep doing your thing and go out there and try to get some local and national bookings. Get your embassy thing going. I took their advice. I did it. I did one dark match in New York with 2 local guys. It went well. 6 months later, 6 months I was like, I'm done. There is no going back to AEW. That was my little trinket, and then I'm in my basement. I'm there with one of my trusted advisors, sipping on some tea, shooting the and out of the blue, I get a text message. How soon can you make it out to Boston? I jumped out of my seat. Everyone in the business knows that I don't drive. I can drive, but I usually like to get driven. I looked at the schedule. It would have gotten me there at 8 p.m. We can't do that. We need to get you here immediately. I can jump in an Uber and be there in 2 or 3 hours. I'm in New York City in Brooklyn. Did the pricing for the Uber? It came out to $650. Let's do it. One Uber car came by. He saw where I was going. It said, sorry, I can't do that. The next one came. Sorry, I can't do it. Third guy came. I begged him. I got on my knees for the first time in my life, got down on my knees and begged the driver. Can you please take me to Boston? I'll do whatever you want. I have a big tip for you. This is very important. He saw it in my eyes, get in the car, and that's when history was made. I made it to Boston, met Tony Khan. He hired me on the spot, and history was made. In a post on X, a fan uploaded some of Cody Rhodes' anti-WWE remarks during his time in AEW, as a fan replied saying, "That's awkward." Cody Rhodes then said, "Not really, I enjoyed my time there, always tried to win, poured my heart and soul into the place, helped create and build it, issue arose and I left. Much love and respect for many of the folks on that team, wish them well." Touching on the booking that Matt Riddle was on the receiving end of in WWE, former writer for the company Vince Russo said on his podcast, "When I say I'll watch Roman Reigns, I'll watch Bray Wyatt. Riddle was on the fringe for me because he was really special. They didn't know how to book him. They did a terrible job, but he had personality. He was a great athlete and he had the it factor. He was just a little amateur for his own good. I hope he learns from that." Addressing the technical issues with AEW Dynamite last night, TBS said online that last night's Dynamite is currently available on our TBS.com website as well as the app. We are working to find out more about potential VOD options for those who missed. As soon as we hear, we'll let you know. Going over the current plan for Brian Pillman Jr. on NXT, Ringside News said that former AEW star Brian Pillman Jr. is set to join the WWE NXT brand. Cryptic vignettes featuring the second-generation star have been airing on recent NXT episodes, depicting Pillman watching TV content related to the Cincinnati Bengals, WCW Nitro, and various second-generation wrestlers. House of Wrestling reports that while Brian Pillman Jr.'s debut on NXT has been teased on television, and the USA Network has posted an article about his signing, it appears that there are no concrete plans for Brian Pillman Jr.'s role beyond the ongoing mysterious vignettes. Speaking about how he made his way to All Elite Wrestling, Jimmy Jacobs told the AEW Unrestricted podcast, "AEW is great, it's a madhouse. Welcome to madness, though. For the last year, I was living in Georgia. I bought about 7 acres out in the middle of nowhere, working for Impact Wrestling. That's just a couple weekends a month. I was working on a farm a couple days a week. I was living that life, and I was like, this is a little too mellow for me. I need to get thrown into the blender and whirl around into chaos. And apparently that's what I'm best adapted for, so AEW is my home right now. It's what I've been doing most of my life up until 2020 when things slowed down. That's the first time things slowed down for me in my career since I was about 18. I'm used to it. I'm used to the chaos. I revel in the chaos." As far as how I got here, Brian Danielson called me and said, "Hey, we're starting a second show and we need someone in the chaos." I'm great in the chaos. They needed someone who was going to be at all of the shows, like someone who has the aptitude that I have. There are others who have the aptitude I have that can do what I do. I'm not particularly special, but also I have no life. So I was like, hey, can you just be on the road whenever? In an interview with Chris Van Vliet, Hulk Hogan recalled a conversation he had with Shane McMahon where Hogan's son was mentioned for plans involving WrestleMania 39. He said, "Shane McMahon had called me and sent me a picture from Madison Square Garden. I guess they got a Hall of Fame walk in there. Shane sent me a picture of him standing in front of my stuff and he goes, 'Hey, old timer, you got one more left in you?' I went, 'Okay, what are you thinking?' He goes, 'Well, I don't know if you had one more left in you or maybe a surrogate such as Nick Hogan.' So we started talking and I said that the only way I could do anything is if I was in the middle of the ring and you just came to me because I can't run or hit the ropes. I have a hard time walking distance, taking a bump. If I got up, I'd have to roll to my left. I can't roll to my right. The only way I can get up is if I roll to my left. So it would be a stretch, but Nick was in Rikishi's school for a couple of years and he was in there with Rusev and all those guys. I'd go out to California and watch him and Nick had it figured out, but then he blew both of his shoulders out. I said, well, I don't know. There's a possibility to maybe do something, whatever the storyline is. Maybe Nick is a heel and he says that Shane destroyed his father's career. I don't know, there's a million ways to do it, but then a couple of weeks later, Shane got hurt or something with his quad. After Van Vliet noted that Shane McMahon injured himself at Mania, Hogan then said, anyway, that whole idea, I just never heard from him again, so that was pretty much it. Following these comments from the Hulkster, Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful revealed that in no way is that true. I can't think of a time in the last 13 or 14 years that Nick Hogan's name was brought up at all, much less in a creative capacity. There has never been a serious conversation about him being involved in anything that I can think of. Even when Hulk would mention him being involved in things, there just wasn't an interest or a benefit to that. With Mercedes Mone suffering an ankle injury during a New Japan show back in May, she would end up having surgery the following month. Now, she was recently seen during an interview where she is no longer wearing a medical boot. It's unknown when she will be returning to in-ring action. Despite announcing an appearance from the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns, ticket sales for an upcoming show are not increasing much, as WrestleTix noted. WWE Super Show Saturday, October 14th, 2023, 7:30 p.m. T-Mobile Center, Kansas City, Missouri. Available tickets 3,894. Current setup 8,001. Tickets distributed 4,107. Plus 359 since last week's update when Roman Reigns was added to this show. Was expecting a bit higher of a bump for his addition to the show. Last time here, March 17th, 2023, SmackDown 9,330. For more news on the current legal situation, a former WWE star, Tammy Sytch, Ringside News wrote that, as previously reported, Sytch was involved in a fatal 3-car crash last year. The driver of the vehicle hit by Sytch, identified as Julian LaFrancis Lasseter Jr. of Daytona Beach Shores, was transported to Halifax Health Medical Center where he was pronounced dead. Due to this, Sytch was arrested as it was determined that the wreck was her fault, and that was just the start of it. It was also reported that Sytch faces maximum prison sentence of 25 years after pleading no contest to DUI manslaughter charges. After initially asserting her innocence to all charges, she changed her plea in court just before the case was set to go to trial. According to PW Insider, Florida State Attorney R.J. Larissa filed a sentencing memorandum on September 26th in advance of her sentencing next month on numerous criminal charges before the 7th Judicial Circuit Court. In the aforementioned memorandum, R.J. Larissa called Tammy Sytch a danger to society and wrote a detailed list of dates regarding all of her brushes with the law and numerous visits to jail. It is to be noted that the maximum sentence for the DUI manslaughter charge is 15 years in prison. The attorney is also seeking the maximum sentence of 10.663 years for her driving while license suspended with death charge. Therefore, the attorney wants her to be incarcerated for 26 years. For a health update on Adam Cole, Ringside News wrote that Adam Cole appeared on AEW Dynamite this week. There may have been big audio issues which AEW had to correct, but he was still on the show. That being said, don't expect to see Mr. Bebe in the ring again anytime soon. During Adam Cole's recent Twitch stream, he revealed that doctors have told him that he will need 2 surgeries on his ankle. That is not the news that anyone wanted to hear. Adam Cole is set to have 4 plates and 4 screws put in him in the process. Cole also said that this is the most painful injury he's ever been through, but he's confident that he will return to the ring. That being said, it doesn't appear that Adam Cole has even gone under the knife yet. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.